an SDR role in particular does not include very lengthy conversations. So we need to spend not a lot of time with someone and then quickly understand if the person is actually a good fitment. We would want to take the process ahead with him or not, right? So that intuition thing, right? You should instantly know if this person is actually wasting your time or is a good investment for you.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here and welcome to the one-on-one session with Thought Leader by Seco. And for any of you watching who are not sure of what Seco is the first micro-based learning community wherein you can learn just about anything in under a minute. And in short, it's a world where knowledge meets seeker. And basically, I'm very glad to have Shubham with us here today. Welcome, Shubham, and thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Ria.
So instead of me talking about you, I would love to give you the stage for you to, talk a little bit about yourself, what it is that you do, and your background.
Oh, cool. Got it. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what I did to be here today, right? But yeah, so I know a few people who are currently working in the organization. And so I currently work as an SDR with Salesforce. So, Salesforce is a SaaS company headquartered out of San Francisco. And we are a CRM makers, right? So we are a SaaS organization. Before this, I used to work with startups. So I was a part of an organization called Bestotech, a tech company. Was the first sales hire. Built up the entire sales team, stayed with them for a couple of years, moved on when they scaled up a little bit, when I wanted to basically change my industries. And before that, I started with IMJobs. That was the beginning of my sales career, which was approximately three and a years, three and a half years back. Yeah. So that's how I started and ventured into sales. And yeah, that's what I've been doing ever since.
All right, thank you so much, and we are glad to have you here and glad to have you as a thought leader on
Sure.
Seco.
Thank you.
So if you're ready, then we'll dive into the rapid fire segment of this session.
Yeah, absolutely. How controversial is it?
No, it's not as controversial as hopefully it is fun.
Yeah.
So we are going to stick by answering the questions to probably,
Sure.
in as quickly as you can. So yeah, let's dive into it. The first
Yeah.
question I had for you is how would you describe yourself in 3 words?
How would I describe myself in 3 words? First thing, solo traveler, love it. Second thing, does not like being at home, right? And third thing is, love to eat or probably cook at times.
All right.
Yeah.
The second question I have for you is who would you say is your role model?
Ooh, yeah, that's tough, man. Yeah, no one really as such, right? If you ask me, I do not really have one common role model. So yeah, I probably wouldn't have a name to it.
All right. And if you had to choose one famous personality that could be your neighbor, who would you choose?
Famous personality, Mark Benioff, my current CEO, would love to be neighbors with him, right?
All
Yeah, so
right.
he's based out of US, so yeah, wouldn't mind going there.
Right. And you spoke about traveling. So, which is the next place on your wish list you want to travel to?
So right now I am a little confused. It completely depends on where India allows traveling. My last destination was Leh Ladakh, right? And then before that, yeah, I went to Jaipur for dinner one day, and I'm based out of Delhi NCR. So that basically completes it. Tick marks for the first two three things that I love going out. I love eating food and love traveling. So yeah, my next destination. Let's see. I'll probably want to visit either Philippines or South Korea, but let's see what happens first.
All right. I've heard Leh is really, really amazing.
Oh yeah, Leh is amazing. Absolutely, it's a completely different world.
Right. All right. And the last question I had for you in rapid fire is if you were asked to become an apprentice of a famous CEO for a week, who would you choose and why?
Apprentice of a famous CEO, Nitin Kamath. Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Thank you so much for answering them in such a quick manner. Moving on to the swipe left and right segment. From what I figured from your answers, I think I already know a couple of answers for this too, but let me shoot them at you anyway.
cool.
The
Yeah.
first is Zoom meetings.
Nah, left. Swipe left.
All right. Adventure sports.
Adventure sports, swipe right. Yeah.
All right. Cooking.
Cooking, swipe right. Yeah.
Late night parties.
Swipe right. If on a Monday, swipe left. If on a Friday or Saturday night, swipe right. Yeah.
All right. And the last is, I think, I know the answer, but a world tour.
World tour. Oh yeah. So sorry. Swipe left. I'll disappoint you
Oh,
in this one.
you won't.
just,
You wouldn't like to
just
do that
kidding.
one?
No, just kidding. Yeah. Swipe right.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I hope that was, fun for you. It's just
Yeah.
this icebreaker thing we try to do on our platform. But moving on to some more questions that, are picked up from your experience in the field that you work in.
Yeah.
The first question I had is, what is it like working as a sales development representative in Salesforce?
Got it. So I'll quickly brief a little bit about what does a sales development representative do in their usual life, right? And then I'll probably walk you through how the day looks like. So every organization gets certain leads or inquiries or certain people interested in using a few products, correct? So for example, with Salesforce, because we are CRM players, correct? So an organization which would probably want to implement a CRM, customer relationship management tool, for their sales team or service team, they would come to us. Now the very first person that they speak with is the SDR. SDR's main job or responsibility is to connect with different people and stakeholders in an organization, understand if their requirement is an actual one or not. In case it's an actual one, then they pass it on to the next person, who generally is an account manager, the closing salesperson, then who will take it forward, right? So that's what an SDR does. A typical day, what it looks like is that you start your day, you immediately need to start planning that which organization would you want to first connect with. Okay, it can be an inbound lead, which basically means that someone comes to your organization, and it can be an outbound lead, which basically means that your organization or you as an individual goes to someone and basically knocks on the door, correct? So you strategize your day. If you get inbound leads, you plan which one to focus and call first. Once you've done that, you just get on a call, right? You make 50, 60, 70, 80 calls a day. You are always on it. You do solution selling. You understand their pain points. You understand why do they want a tool like this in their organization. Is it actually going to be a good fit or not? Okay, understand their entire process. If it looks like that, you pass it on to the next person. In case not, you just probably disqualify the lead, and then you move on to the next one. So that's what a day probably looks like.
All right, thank you. And the second question I had is sort of similar, and you covered quite a bit here, but
Yep.
it has an additional part, so I'll still ask you, which
Okay.
is, what is the day to day responsibility of a sales development representative, and is it similar to the roles of a sales representative?
Got it. So sales development representative is a term which was coined initially by SaaS organizations first, right? For those who probably do not know what a SaaS organization is, it's software as a service. A very quick example, you probably used Microsoft Excel when you were in school, right? You had to download it, and then Google came with Google Sheets, which you do not have to download in your laptop, right? So an application or software which you do not have to download and you can use it from the desktop or the browser itself is a software as a sales service, right? So that's what a SaaS organization is. It was coined first by SaaS organizations, and yes. And what was the exact part of the question? If you could probably help me out with
Yeah,
that.
so it was about the day-to-day responsibility as a sales development representative, and also,
Okay.
is it similar to that of a sales representative?
Sales representative, got it. It's pretty much similar to a sales representative. So sales has two different parts. One is building the pipeline. Sales development representative is focused totally on building the pipeline. How many more new customers can I add, or prospects can I add to my account executive or manager's pipeline, right? A sales representative might also close certain accounts. That means they will be the only person responsible from the very beginning to the end. However, a sales development representative is generally involved with the very first few conversations and then passes it on to a senior or a technical person. Yeah.
All right.
However, it varies company to company.
Got it. And we were talking about how you work in Salesforce. So, what does the interview process at Salesforce look like?
Um, I would say pretty nice and interesting. Okay, a few things that I loved about them is that they're pretty quick. If they like you, they'll come back. If they do not like you, they'll probably say no to you. Correct. Luckily, I did not experience the second one. But so yeah, the process it looks like is that you connect with a lot of different stakeholders. Since it's a pretty big organization, you connect with a lot of people who you will be interacting with on a day-to-day basis. They would love to understand about your previous experiences. They would love to understand what can you actually add to their organization. Okay, what skill sets do you bring on which other team members can probably learn from you, and things like that. So the entire interview round would probably, go about your past experience. What can you add to the table? What do you bring to the table actually, right? And along with that, how are your presentation skills? What are your sales skills? And do they actually see an account manager, account executive, or a leader in you? If they do, then they probably would want to take you in, because it just makes their life easier. Why would they want to hire someone from the outside? Just keep promoting you inside. Yeah.
Right. And you spoke about skill sets, which is exactly what my next question is about. Like,
Yeah.
what according to you are the type of skill sets that are required for to be successful, in the sales development representative department?
Got it. So, a few skill sets. You need to be a damn good listener. Okay. You probably do not really need to speak a lot. You should be really good at listening to other people's pain point, and you should know how to frame a question. Okay, which can probably get you the best possible answer. These two things are very important when it comes to not just sales, but sales development, but in actual sales as well. Since I've been an account executive in my previous organization, listening thing and asking good questions is something that keeps you apart. Yeah, but the next best skill set that I'd probably say is that do whatever you are trying to do, correct, but just make sure that you provide the best experience to your customers. If you do that, they'll probably come back. If not now, maybe in future.
Right, definitely. And picking up from that, I mean, talking about, sales development representatives, what are the typical challenges that one faces as an SDR in their daily tasks?
For an organization like Salesforce, right, there are a lot of people who are interested. Probably good fitment, probably not a good fitment. So one of the challenges that we face on a day-to-day basis is that the volume is pretty huge, and we need to figure out the best customers from that volume. So there might be days when I'll probably receive probably 100 leads or so, correct? And I need to figure out the best person to reach out to. That's one of the challenges we SDRs face. Second is that an SDR role in particular does not include very lengthy conversations. So we need to spend not a lot of time with someone and then quickly understand if the person is actually a good fitment. We would want to take the process ahead with him or not, right? So that intuition thing, right, in you should instantly know if this person is actually wasting your time or is a good investment for you. That is a challenge that people face. A lot of people would probably end up having just 5 conversations, pretty long one, and end up with nothing. So that won't really take you anywhere. Now you'll probably need to change your approach.
Right. And on a side note, I think you're doing a great job answering the questions in such a prompt manner, because I am not from the sales field at all, but I'm still
Yeah.
able to keep up and follow through and understand.
Yeah.
And just like for our audience too, like we are catering to people who might want to get into this field or are thinking about it. So for them especially, maybe in layman language, how would you explain, like, what your tips would be on as to how to identify relevant prospects?
Got it. To identify relevant prospects, right? A few tips for people who would want to get started with would be understand your product inside out. Okay. You should know what pain points does this thing solve. If it does not solve a pain point, it's probably good nothing, worth nothing. Okay. Know your product inside out. You should know what your organization is trying to do. Okay. You should know who all are out there as competitors for you, correct? I should know if Salesforce is probably speaking with one customer, which other organizations can that person be speaking with, and what is that organization going to do for that person. If I do not really know about that, then probably I cannot highlight my USPs. In that case, I'll end up saying the same thing which everyone else says, and then he won't really have a reason to purchase something from me. Okay, so one skill set and one tip for anyone who wants to get started is that research about a product industry, understand the market that is probably in a growing phase right now. Okay, for example, around a year or 2 years back, edtech was on a boom. Okay, now what's on a boom is a D2C industry. That means direct to customers. You'll see a lot of new websites are coming up every day which sort of have those FMCG products or something like that, and they do not have any middlemen in between, but they have really cool products. Okay, and you'll see a lot of advertisement happening there. So you need to understand which industry is in boom right now, and you need to focus on which one would be the easiest for you to crack and the fastest. If you're able to crack one customer, use that as a reference for the next customer. To crack two customers, use that as a reference for the next 10 people. And yeah, probably you can get started that way.
I think there's some really informative points, so thank you for that. And you talked about how you need to keep the customer happy, and that's how you'll retain them probably. So what
Yeah.
would be your guide on how to keep prospective customers engaged throughout the journey?
Hmm. One thing that I've seen and I've actually learned from a lot of different sales leaders that I've worked with is that um, one thing that we can do to keep people engaged is that in every conversation that we have with them, right? Just don't talk about business. Okay, just don't talk about selling your product. Try and understand genuinely what are they facing or going through. Okay, if I probably get on a call with someone, if they want to blabber around their work or something else for 5-10 minutes, do that. Because the more they speak, the better they'll feel about it after the call. They'll actually feel that someone listened to their pain, problems and points. This is the first thing. Second thing, whenever you try and talk to someone, okay, try and add some value to that conversation. If you're sending a mail, don't just send a random follow-up mail. Try and send something which can add more value. Maybe tell them what more can your product do. Maybe share a good customer story or a reference. Just don't. So there's a one very famous mail that people send to follow up. It's just bumping it to the top, right? Never send that kind of a mail, because that does not add any value. That just pressurizes your customer to reply. Okay, and you wouldn't want that. So whatever you do, try and add some value.
Got it. Okay, and the next question I had for you is about value propositions. So, how to analyze your value propositions and use them when you're pitching to prospects?
Got it. Could you probably elaborate a little bit more about the question?
So I wouldn't know the technical part of it,
Yeah,
but
no
from
issues.
what,
In random layman term, yeah.
yeah, so I mean, in terms of value propositions, if you keep on one side, how would
Yeah.
you, I don't know, choose and pick and analyze them and then pitch it to potential customers, I would say.
Got it. Okay. So if you're working in one common particular industry, okay, and if you're reaching out to just people of just one industry, in that case, you should, and I am assuming that you'll do your good research, and you would know the pain points that particular person is facing, okay, and how your organization has helped a similar customer in the past. So probably your call starter could be that, hey, I was just going through your website, I saw that you work in this industry, and we have helped certain organizations like this in solving these challenges. Okay, so the moment they understand and then see that, okay, you've done it in the past, they would want to listen more about it. That's one of the ways in which you can showcase the value proposition. Second thing, be extremely honest. If your product does not do anything, let them know about it. Okay, be the first person to let them know about it, because not every product or software can do each and everything. Okay, so the best way to create and make a good value proposition is that do a balance sheet sort of a thing. That means highlight all the good things that you can do, highlight all the bad things that probably your product has. At the end, let them know that I know we cannot do these many things, but I'm pretty sure the good things that we can do can easily overshadow these few negative points. Okay, now it is up to you that would you want to probably go ahead with a product that can do so many things and not do these many things, or go ahead with a product that can do probably just these few things. Okay. And never bring down any other customer. Always say that they are an amazing customer, or like never bring down any other competitor, I would say. Okay. Never say that this organization is not doing good. Always say they are doing good, but this is what we can do to add this value to your organization. Yeah. Make
Got
them
it.
imagine the situation. Yeah.
Understood. And as an SDR, how would you say that one should handle, any kind of objection or rejection that they face while they're on job?
Smile and move on. That's it. you The more you think about it, the more you will stress over it. Okay. If someone says no to me, probably I'll just smile. Okay, cool, theek hai, done. It's good that I got a no. If I wouldn't have gotten a no, I would have tried calling that person 10 more times to get a yes or a no. Okay. It's a good thing that I got a no pretty soon. That guy just saved my time. Thank that person, move ahead, make more calls, reach out to more people. You never know, the next call might get you something amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
And if we go back into your experience a little, you were also a placement coordinator, right?
Yeah.
So I had a question about that. Like, as per you, what is the guide on how being a placement coordinator can assess you yourself in understanding the corporate psyche?
Got it. So yeah, that was actually a long time back. Okay, from my understanding, that was around 4 to 5 years back, and a lot has happened ever since. Okay, so yeah, one of the few things which actually helped me during that particular tenure of as being the placement coordinator. In fact, I was the placement head of Delhi University College, and it wasn't the best college out there, but still a good one. Okay, a decent one. And the best part is that a lot of organizations would probably say no to coming to that college, okay, because probably they're busy going somewhere else. The best part was to convince them and make them say yes. Okay. And that's when and how I understood that okay, this is what sales is, and probably I would want to venture into it. So a few things that it actually helped me out with is that I was in constant touch with a lot of HRs, and I would learn small things from them about professionalism. Okay. uh, I would know for a matter of fact that in case I'm not able to probably attend a meeting, at least have the courtesy to let someone else know. In case I have a meeting with someone, probably try and show up a minute earlier. Okay. If not a lot, just a minute earlier, so that the other person is not getting late. And many such small things. I would see so many resumes of all my college people. Right? I could easily pick the best things from that and make my own resume. Right. So it actually gave me a lot of benefit over these small things. Yeah.
Definitely.
And I would know what a
And
bad resume is.
sorry,
So I would know what a bad resume is.
right.
So I would never go ahead and make that kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. And I had two last questions to ask you, and
Yeah.
I
Sure.
think they are a bit more generic but connected to this field as to what according to you is an ideal hiring strategy, and how should one build upon that?
Got it. Depends. What sort of an organization are you talking about? Is it a startup, or is it going to be probably a big organization?
I think maybe you can take up both and just let us know
Sure.
according to you.
So when hiring for startups, right, early stage startups, the best hiring strategy is referrals.
Mhm.
Nothing beats that. Okay, you should know, or you should have a very strong reference from someone who has worked with that person before. Okay, they shouldn't be relatives of that person, but they should have worked with that person before in a professional environment. Okay, if you have that sort of a reference, you can probably go ahead and take the bet. Correct. While talking about corporates, right, I haven't really seen or done a lot of corporate hiring. In startups, I've probably built up a team, so I know that references work the best. However, in corporates, I see that yeah, they do focus a lot on references of different people, right? So that does work. But at the same time, a corporate should showcase something that you as an individual won't be a very small part of the system. Your contribution would actually mean so much more. Correct. And this is what will help you with to be successful in the role, and what your future lies in. Okay, a clear cut plan for the next 3 to 4 years shown by a corporate is way better than anything else, right? because you know this is what it takes to probably jump into the next role. This is what I can do. This is what I won't get if I lack into these aspects, right? So I believe to be 100% transparent and showcase a nice future growth path by a corporate can for sure attract a lot of people.
Okay. And the last question I had for you
Yep, yep.
is, as per you, what are the key things that you think one should highlight in their interview?
Leadership, how you have taken initiatives, and no matter which profile do you come from, if you have been able to impact or actually uh, have contributed positively towards an organization's growth, highlight those numbers. Okay, you can be an HR, you can be probably someone else. Okay, uh, always highlight your journey in the form of numbers and percentages. The more you do that, the better impact it would have. People relate more when they see numbers. Okay, if I just generically write a statement that probably 7 lakh people in India on a random job portal would have, it would do zero good to my profile. But if I highlight any numbers, I would be able to differentiate my profile from them. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you so much. I think that'll really be helpful for me too personally, because
Yeah.
I think I have a lot of interviews that I will be giving soon. And thank you so much for answering all those questions with honestly such ease, and doing them in such a quick manner. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope you did as well.
Oh, we
Uh,
absolutely had a lovely time.
thank you so much for taking out time and being
No
here with
issues. Yeah,
us
pleasure.
as a thought leader. And thank you guys for watching. We're gonna wrap the session up with Shubham, but stay tuned as we come back with more such sessions.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys. See you.
Thank you.